our son will embrace that. But Alex, when I saw that teacher, that college teacher sitting there talking that hate, that communist, that socialistic, it broke my heart as a Hispanic, because right then and there, when people see this, they're just too ignorant and dumb to sit there.
Well, Chris, that's why I saw this on Cinco de Mayo last week. I was going to play it, but I was like, man, I don't want to give in to the division, because even countering it may cause that. And I was thinking about not even covering it because there's so much other stuff to cover. And then I got contacted by 2 Hispanic members of Rodriguez's crew saying, look, have you seen the trailer? It's worse than that. And then I got the script, and I can't even, when you read this script, I mean, it is just, and I don't want to spoil the whole film, so I'm not going to release the whole script, and it is a free speech issue, and I could probably release it, but I'm not going to. We've shown certain sections of it so we can prove what we're saying. I can't believe it, and I appreciate your call, Chris. Comments on that, Rob Redding?
Well, I haven't seen the Rodriguez movie or trailer, so I'm kind of jumping in on this, but I can say this, that to demonize groups that carry guns and say that they're supremacists or what have you is an overgeneralization. I've never been for gun control in this country. I believe that we should have the right to carry. We should defend our country, and those things are important. But just to blatantly say that these groups automatically oppose you because of your race is wrong. Lots of people stand on principle here. I stand on principle of the fact that you have to do it the right way. Yes, there's a process. It takes a while. But if you want to truly get in this country, you can. But you cannot come in breaking laws, and we cannot condone the porous borders that we're seeing.
Well, plus we're being told we've got to give all our rights up because terrorists are going to kill us. And then the border's basically wide open, and they use illegal alien labor to build the 50 miles of the 200-mile fence they never finished. I mean, it's a joke. Let's talk to Paul in Texas. You're on the air with Rob Redding. Go ahead.
Oh, hello, Alex. I've been listening to you concerning this Robert Rodriguez movie, and you have to keep in mind that he's up there with Tarantino. It's just ridiculous and absurd. I understand how it just comes in at exactly the right time, to incite people. But for the most part, people will not replicate this. It would be like people going around after watching American History X and committing the same acts of violence that they see there,
No, it's different. In American History X, the white supremacist is the bad guy. Okay? This isn't done that way. Whites are attacking churches, crucifying Catholic priests, trying to murder Hispanic children, murdering Hispanics in cold blood. They shoot it at the Capitol. They put out a trailer saying, this is a message to Arizona. That's why Fox has now pulled the trailer. They realize that was then mixed in with reality. And believe me, once you see this movie, when it comes out, because I haven't seen the film, but I've got the script, which is the film. This is not like a black exploitation film or something that has a little bit of this in it. And this is free speech. He can do this. My only issue is I'm constantly hearing how Tea Parties are all racist and they want to kill everybody, and 99% of that's made up and a lie. Okay, and if you're against government health care, you're racist. Or if you're against the banker bailout, you're racist. When that's injecting the racial issue. Look, I'm a 36-year-old white guy, okay? I grew up in Dallas, Texas. I will assure you, I hardly ever heard anything racial, nothing from my parents, nothing deer hunting with rednecks, nothing from anybody. And I mean, the only time I heard it was from other groups, and it was mainly like a joke, to me. So I don't understand it because believe me, all I ever hear about is how white people have this big secret, operation of racism. And yeah, there's some toothless Klan members out there running around. And half the time you do the research, it's federally funded, like Hal Turner, who was always attacking me. I don't even know what to say, but I appreciate your call. Comments on that, Rob Redding?
Well, there definitely exists in America racism, and that's definitely an issue. People that say that the Tea Party movement is all racial, obviously it's an overgeneralization. However, let me just say, I was at a Tea Party gathering where they were protesting on tax day in Seattle, and I felt like I was at a Klan rally. I'm not going to lie. I felt very uncomfortable. There were black people there, but they were watching on the outskirts. I decided to go in and mingle with the crowd. It's just the number of white people that we're seeing that oppose the president. And it's the signs that some of the signs that they were carrying on Barack Obama felt Klan-like. So, I mean, it's easy. It makes it easy for the Democrats, because remember, I'm not one, I'm an independent. It makes it easy for the Democrats to tar these people and say, you know what, all of these people are racist. And
but isn't that also a self-fulfilling prophecy that from day one the media said it was racist, and so black people then don't feel comfortable going?
Might be. I mean, that's why I made it a point to go into the rally and to see for myself how I would be received. No one spoke to me. No one said hello. I said hello to several people. Some people just looked at me like, you're out of place. What are you doing here?
Well, that's bad news. I hadn't seen much evidence of that, but certainly there's a lot of different variants of Tea Party. There's Republican Tea Party Nation. There's the Ron Paul type Tea Parties that I assure you black folks are welcome at. And look, I have no doubt that there is, racism in some areas of the Republican Party, and there are white people out there that are racist. I mean, I'll be honest. I like Northerners, but I've been up to New York and places a lot, and that's when I really first in my life heard racial politics, and maybe it's because everybody's herded in together in a big compact city. But I did hear some of it, over the years, just randomly in places like that. But that is certainly not good news there. So it's just further division then.
It is further division. I mean, look, it does exist. Some of it's being overplayed by these political parties, and that's exactly what we're seeing here on the immigration issue. So I think that, again, some of it in terms of Tea Parties and in terms of what we're seeing in terms of opposition to the president, I have a concern, though I will say, about Barack Obama being called a socialist. Every charismatic black guy that we see that comes into power, and I've been saying this over and over again, that comes into power, you can look at Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they were all called socialists. So people say, well, that completely absolves me of being racist. I just believe Barack Obama's a socialist. Well, all Democrats under that description are socialists, because Hillary Clinton would be doing the same thing. You have
but they did call Hillary a socialist too. I mean, look how big the government's getting. Look, but it's more like fascism because it's all going to the banks. But I mean,
he's continued that destructive fascist policy that we've seen from George Bush. And you can attack Barack Obama on sheer policy. You don't have to name call. You can just say the fact that only 1% of the stimulus has gone to black firms when 5% exist out there. You can say he lied to the black farmers and be completely right and say, why are you guys supporting this guy? I mean, he's supposed to be black like you, but he doesn't act like you. The whole point is he's not catching, quote unquote, your back here, and he's not speaking to the issues that you're concerned about. He says he's not going to do anything about black unemployment. He says he's not particularly concerned. He says these are the new highs that we're seeing. We shouldn't be too concerned in terms of unemployment altogether in general. The point is that the guy's not doing what he said he was going to do, and that's where you nail him. You don't have to nail him and say he's a socialist. You don't have to nail him and name call or to paint him as some jigaboo on a big poster. All you have to do is say he is not doing what he said he was going to do, and he's continuing to give money to corporate crooks just like George Bush did.
Well, that's my issue is Republicans who like George Bush should love Obama. Continuing the Patriot Act, secret torture, new wars, banker bailouts, the insurance companies wrote the health care plan. I've pointed out it's not really socialism. It's just piracy.
Right.
It's robbery. But, the Republican Party loves to play that thing. They're fighting socialism, and they're against big government when we see the government grow just as fast under Republicans. So I agree with you there.
Strategic ambiguity. That's what it is.
Strategic ambiguity. That's a good term. Yeah, where you can never really get them nailed down.
That's right, because if you just say he's a socialist, they get on this whole big bandwagon. Therefore, you put them right back into that Republican tent, and that's when you got them, and they're going again in the Republican sphere and putting another Republican in office so they can continue this farce that we're seeing over and over again. It's just recycling.
Good point. Ivan in Texas, you're on the air with Rob Redding. Go ahead.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing good, thank you.
Hey, I woke up a long time ago back when I was in high school. I stopped believing in the whole Republican, Democrat thing, and I realized that what it was really all about was just a Hegelian system. It's the state is supreme, and the individual really has no rights. The individual only exists to serve the state. And anyway,
they only let you exist in your group, and then your group's got a government-anointed leader who gets the airtime, who gets put on the news, and then that leader makes it all about your group instead of about your rights as a human.
Yeah, exactly. It's collectivism. And all I wanted to say is I basically called because the caller you had on earlier, he said that all the people you see working are all Mexicans. Well, the only reason that is because they're willing to settle for lower wages. As more of them come in and take up more of the jobs, it's going to lower wages for everybody. And, you know, if it keeps going the way it's going, eventually the economy is going to collapse and everybody's going to be poor. And that's the reason why Americans are we're trying to fix our country, which is what the Mexicans should be doing. They should be going back to Mexico and fix their country.
Well, that's another issue. The U.S. is used as a steam valve for revolution, for crime. Mexico needs to become free. If it was given a true private property free market system, it would be just as wealthy as the United States, perhaps more so. And, you know, that's the issue is they want to get out of Mexico. They want to say this is Mexico, but then they don't want to embrace America, a lot of them. And, you know, that guy said, well, I'm all for America, but, you know, he thinks the film Machete's great, but he hadn't seen the film. Well, I've read the script, and I've talked to filmmakers that have seen the film now, and I have, you know, it's worse than I can even describe.